Uh, there are certain times in a man's life where he knows that you will always remember where you were. In 1969, I remember exactly where I was when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. Um, I was, I believe, 14 or 15. Very awkward phase for me, acne. Um, but I knew that something great had happened before my eyes. I remember in the 1980s, Halley's Comet, and they said, "Hey, this comet comes by every 50 years." And I was like, "So, am I supposed to care?" They're like, "Yeah, it's kind of cool." It's like, not really to me, but 9/11, of course, O.J. Simpson verdict. I remember that. Kirk Gibson hitting a home run for the Dodgers to win, I believe it was game one of the World Series. Crystallized in my mind, in my memory banks. But today, that has all been surpassed because today we have witnessed something that is akin to a war crime, and that is our beloved Killstream, the festering pile of shit of edgelords, shitlords, anime mafia crew, fat Cheeto fingered losers who are all, without exception, anti Semitic, Jew hating losers. Those guys. Oh, but hold on. Freedom of speech. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me get the narrative right. Yeah. It's the damn Wall Street Journal, that goddamn newspaper, and that goddamn Asian girl. She was behind it all. Damn her to hell, and damn censorship, and oh God, isn't it terrible? Oh no, sorry. What was the narrative? Oh yeah, the narrative is the kids. Don't you care about kids? Kids with cancer. In fact, I was virtue signaling earlier this month or whenever I did that thing, the heel stream. I jumped on the heel stream to help raise money for the kids. Aren't I great? Now, let it be known that this was not some brainchild of this fucking douche. It was a joke. They were trying to get at Sargon, I believe. But he needed content, and he saw, oh, there's super chat for good. That was a new feature, and he said, why don't we do it? I do super chats all day long. I could dedicate a stream to something for good. So you look through they have a list of charities, and he's, oh, okay, St. Jude's, whatever. Good. Isn't it great? Isn't that such positive PR? How could you be mad at a guy who's just trying to save children's lives? Fan-fucking-tastic. So now he is spinning the story. The story is YouTube has caught wind of the toxic little clusterfuck that is the Killstream. If you go in there, now you can make a case for any of these things. And trust me, I am fully aware of community standards, strikes. I've gotten more strikes than the Killstream times 10. Okay? I've had multiple channels removed. I'm against censorship, yes, all that. But we live in the real world, and the real world is they have community standards. And if you think what is happening on the Killstream is within the context of those community standards, you are insane. It's not only does it breach the line, it goes well past the line. Now, if you're a absolutist free speech guy, then yeah, you can make that case. But that's not really the issue here, because that's impotent rage. You're screaming into the night air. The rules are the rules right now. Now, there's three things they could critique and look at. A, the chat. And you could say, look, the content creator is not responsible for the chat. It is that show, though. I mean, it is funded by the chat. The chat is very much a part of the show. The chat is read on the show, which brings us to super chats. The super chat, how does one police the super chat? Because super chat is highlighted, it literally goes onto the show. Every super chat is read, and YouTube has to process money with these hateful comments attached to them, which makes them feel awkward. So if you are going to type in your Jew hatred or your N bombs or whatever in a super chat, you're drawing attention to it. You're basically poking a bear. Now, that's one aspect of it, the super chat and the chat, which anybody who's ever seen a single kill stream, it's an orgy of retarded Jew hatred. These people don't even know Jews. Okay, this is just in their demented, retarded minds, this is like the cool thing to do. Like, let's go after the Jews. I don't know what. Okay, fuck it. Yeah. It's them trying to be edgy. It's an extension of them being fat little babies who shit their diaper and cried to get attention. They don't have words, but I want attention. And when you're a little bit older, you're a toddler, you pick up a word, dick. You heard your older brother say it, and you could tell by the way he said it that it was a naughty word. So you think, you know what I'm going to do? Next time, like, my parents are around, I'm going to say the word, hey, mommy, dick. No, no, Billy, no. Billy, what did we say? Don't do it. Oh, I have a secret weapon. I'm powerful now because I own the power of the dick. And if I just say this word, now, when you are a miserable, low life, scum fuck, loser, nobody pays attention to you. Nobody cares. There's no Q and A's. Nobody gives a fuck about your A's. You don't get Q's. You don't have sex. You don't have a girlfriend. You have a shit job. You're a fucking nobody. So what do you do? What can you do to matter in this world? Well, I can get noticed. I can get upvotes on a comment. I could get likes. I can get retweets. Somebody can notice me. A talk show host can notice my comment. Well, how can it be noticed? What can I say? Hi, Ralph. How are you doing today? Hey guys. Super rainy out here in Texas, but just saying hi. I hope you're all doing well. Nope, that's not going to work. Ramp it up. What else you got? How about gas the Jews? Kill the kikes? Oy vey? That's pretty edgy. Goy? Goy. Oh. Yeah. So they go into like hysterical 1930s anti-Semitism, and they think that this is cool. It's funny. Now, this is probably the most depressingly pathetic, ass backwards, just retarded frame of mind. But it is the currency in which the people on the Killstream and the whole fan base, by the way, not just the Killstream, it's Andy Worski, it's any of these fucking losers. Okay, you should see. I was on the Andy Worski I saw today. They throw up a picture of Natalie Portman. They're like, oh, who is this kike? Just nonstop Jew hatred. And you think after YouTube and other social platforms, by the way, have made a concerted effort to rein in hate speech, to rein in the toxic environment on their platform. Nice, Marino. Thank you. You think that they're not going to take notice of that? Ralph knew this was going to happen. He's not dumb. He knew this was temporary. That's why he's always flying by the seat of his pants. He's always taking streams down. He's getting flags, this and that. Now, in a perfect world, here's what I'd say. And by the way, should I make a video on this? I don't know. I'll just do it live. Fuck it. In a perfect world, and I'll bring on some guests here, friends. I'll bring on some friends in a bit here. But what would I like to see happen? Well, I would like to out all the people who want to talk shit about Jews. That's what I would like. And bombs, any of that stuff. Now, I think that it's a guessing game. I would say it's a spectrum. There are some people in there who actually believe this shit. Thank you, Andy. And literal father of every side chat online. Interesting. There are some of those people that actually are legitimately Holocaust deniers, Jew haters. The rest of them just go along with it because they think they're edgy and funny. So from a comedic standpoint, it isn't funny. So it's not funny like shock value. It's not funny. It's not funny because of the context. It's not funny because of the aim of the joke. Like, I'm a guy, I'll say all sorts of jokes. Keep up the tremendous work, Devin. Bless the Jews, ethnic and religious. Thank you for that chat. And thank you, Islet. Beautiful. I am a crass individual. I am known to say things that are, I push the envelope. I'm not a Boy Scout. I actually am a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, virtue. But the point is, I'm not a pussy. There's a way to say a joke. I say rape jokes often. I said a Zeke Heil joke in my last thing because it was just a word play. But that's the point. Who is the target of the joke? Ricky Gervais says Holocaust jokes, but the target is not fuck the Jews. Do you understand? Thank you, Chris. Talking in third person, I know I got to explain to people, right? You have to say, look, these are not my thoughts. Um, especially in the light, and let's mention this, in light of the 11 people killed in a synagogue in Pittsburgh. I think that people are a little bit more hyper aware if you get an email or a tweet from someone that works for a mainstream enterprise. And thank you for that $2. And I don't understand why it's raining on me right here with money, but I will take it. Um, it has made people hypersensitive or a little bit more aware that, hey, ideas matter. Sam Harris said it, ideas matter. Now, this is not coming from the top down. Donald Trump is not, even though a lot of people try to make it everything, the sun rises and sets on Trump, and we always have to get to a fuck Trump narrative. Trump is not a Jew hater. Trump condemns the actions of this synagogue guy, which is, not that impressive. But coming out of these environments, and it's unnecessary. That's the funny part. Like, they have an entertaining show. They put in effort. They have an audience. They have a format. I mean, they're putting in work, and they have a bunch of eager audience members, and it just doesn't have to go this route. So I don't see why it does. It's a shame. Look, I was on the Killstream, the heel stream, and I'm sitting there. I don't know these people, and obviously Ralph put in this Jew-hating Holocaust denier, knowing with me. He inserted that because he knew it was going to be explosive. He knew that I was going to react to him. Thank you, Paul, by the way. Love you. You know that Ralph isn't actually anti-Semitic. He does hate Israel and Zionism. Well, what? You just contradicted yourself. So Ralph, oh, here's my thing about Ralph. Ralph is the kingpin of this, right? Now, Ralph is a pleasant, affable guy. He's a funny guy. Ralph is a guy who stood up for me years ago. Years ago, Ralph wrote an article about me after I was accused of being a doxer. And he did not morally fag on me. He said, wait a minute, this guy isn't a doxer. This guy revealed a name of a guy who called him a racist. There's nothing wrong with this guy. He called the article like the great American hero or something like that. Okay. So Ralph is a guy who he's basically tripled down on this format and his role as the host of the show. And the show gets successful. It rises in popularity. He's making a bunch of money. So why would he stop? But see, even as he's doing it, you know that he doesn't feel that comfortable with it. It's not his favorite part. He will hear some of the worst hateful talk and try to downplay it a little bit. Now, it's too little, too late. He is culpable. The buck stops with him. He is the guy that is conducting this whole army of people. And it's not just the chat. He brings these people on his show. He platforms them. And they say it out loud. I mean, in the course of a 4-hour show, you could timestamp so many things that any trusted flagger would flag. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. And let me get back to that. My perfect world. My perfect world. And another thing I give Ralph credit for, he gives his name. Huge difference. He gives his name. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I've got to read this. Hey, Dev, going to the Trump rally on Sunday. Any thoughts or questions I should ask both sides? I'm a conservative anticipating protests. Trump rally on Sunday. That's going to be electric. Holy Christ. Where is that? You're going to ask both sides? I mean, it's comedy gold. Anything you ask them. Ask them about the invading hordes, the caravan from hell. Ask them their predictions. Ask them, I mean, these people have low information, and people are just so easily influenced. Reminds me of an interview I saw, a very telling interview with Darren Brown. Darren Brown, the mentalist, the magician, the gay man, apparently. I found out he was gay, like after watching him for 7-8 years. I was like, damn it, I no longer like him. But I'm just kidding. The man, he realized how easy it was to convince someone of something. This is a powerful realization because it's actually scary to realize how easy it is to do. This is a guy who could convince a girl to sleep with him. It's just, wait, what if they transition to nibba jokes? I mean, look, let's talk. I'm getting off track here. I'll engage the chat in a second. But let's go back to what I would like to see. Ralph gives his name. He's Ethan Ralph. He says what he says, and he takes the reputational hits for it. So I give credit to that. The people in his super chats, they don't do that. The guy he has on his show, who, some of the true anti-Semites he brings on, okay, so be it. If you're going to sign your name to it, that's fine. And I think society will regulate that as it sees fit. Like the guy who comes on who's a Holocaust denier, if he goes out for a job, this will follow him. This is something that you have to, if you believe it and you have the courage to say what you believe, then do it. Just do it. And Ethan Ralph, he probably is more, he probably isn't a supreme Jew hater, even though he sort of caters to them and profits off of it, which is disgusting in its own right. But it's not the point. It's like there is a nest of people out there, and I believe that it comes from their own pathetic, failed lives. I believe they're angry. People are looking for something to be mad about. Like right now, there's a bunch of friggin' losers out there spurging on the idea that a cancer fund for children at St. Jude's Hospital is not going to get $26,000, and they're upset. Like they're they're sweating. Okay, they're going, this is fucking crazy. This is the end of times. The sky is falling. St. Jude's doesn't give a shit about $26,000. This is a PR stunt. Okay, it's nice. It could help in a minor way. It doesn't really matter. What's going to happen, by the way, this is not what happened. Wall Street Journal did not conspire with YouTube to take money out of the hands of cancer patients. That was an accidental byproduct of the action they took. Once that's brought to their attention, it will be reversed. There's no way that they're going to take away Super Chat for good. Super Chat that went to a charity fund, they're going to strip that away. They will find a way to reimburse. That's my guess. Because, look, these things, they happen fast. And you press a button and it just does this shit automatically. It's not personal, in other words. But that's not why they took Ralph's shit down. And Ralph has spun the story to suggest that, oh no, this is the story. The story is, what about the cancer kids? The 26,000. So he's desperately latching onto the idea that, oh, we just do good. The Killstream it's saving children's lives. Now, let's not forget, during that same Heal stream, there was an entire segment dedicated to the denial of the Holocaust. Okay, I pushed back against it. And what does his chat do to me? Of course, I wasn't reading the chat. Go back and read it. They say to me, because a history major from UCLA, I acknowledge the existence of the Holocaust. And I'm the enemy now. You know why? They need targets. They need targets because they know that in their heart of hearts, they should be the target. They should be the target of their own self-reflection. They should be the target of the attention of a therapist. They need to work on themselves. They're shit. Okay, they don't want to address any of that. So what you do is you project outward. You find something else. Now, it's the Jews. The Jews are perfect. Oh God, fuck those Jews. It's the SJWs. Ooh, it's the feminists. It's those damn, oh God, I mean, you name it. Just every day, it's a lynch mob. And these dorks all look to each other. But because they're all pussies. None of them stand on their own. Very few will put their name to anything. Very few will go up against a crowd. Okay, it repeats. This pattern repeats. And they're going to milk this, and it's going to be, oh my God, look at, we're just the victims. Big Brother is coming after us. I mean, it's retarded. Look, I don't know what kind of appeal they're going to get. They don't have any, I don't know what angle they could play here. Hey, we were kidding about those Jew jokes, the 20,000 of them. It's really tone deaf. So if you're seriously concerned about the cancer fund, that will be reimbursed. Okay, so do not lose sleep over that. In terms of the future of the Killstream, they have Discord. They have ways of reaching their fans. They're going to pivot. They're going to find an outlet, even if it's not YouTube. And you could do, I don't know, Streamlabs. They'll find a way to fund it, and they'll find it, Patreon. Although Patreon has been known to team up and sort of strike people down. So if he gets too much attention, and he's going on InfoWars tonight, if he gets too much attention, watch out. Because if PayPal gets involved, if Patreon gets involved, then Then you cut the money, then it's like, oh shit, party's over. And, it sucks because I think, the problem is the fan base is too toxic. The fan base is just that loser, fucking losers. But if it was just Ralph and who's that chink, Zidane, if it's just those guys, they could come up with other stuff. They could downplay that stuff. They could regulate the chat or be like, hey guys, could you not be fucking anti-Semitic? Like it's not cool. It's not funny. You have to lead by example. Look at me. My policy toward the Jews is simply I don't hate them. I respect the Jewish people. And I'm seen as some like outlier. That's how crazy the world is right now. So, I mean, with great sub count comes great responsibility. These people shrug that responsibility. They don't even address it. They don't acknowledge it for themselves. They're just like, the chat's the chat, man. Jokes. It's just jokes. Thank you. Non-atheist with the utmost respect for this channel. Yeah, it was interesting. I did a video today or recently, and as a Jew, I respect you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's like you got to stick up for these people. And it's not even, I mean, it does have ramifications. These things do matter. But look, we can all have differences. Okay, tons of conservatives. I asked my fan base. I said, how many of you are left? How many are center? How many are right? The fewest people of my fans are on the left. That got the third most votes. The most was center, and the second was to the right. So I think my girlfriend's just woke up. I heard a loud banging. So that's fine, and we can have disagreement, but there's certain lines you don't cross. And the one thing that everybody will say, and I think it's all agreed upon, even hardcore free speech people, is calls to violence. Now, you could find legit calls to violence in Killstream chat for sure, probably on the broadcasts themselves. If not that, they are inching up ever close. And the amount of raw hatred and just old school, like just sickening anti-Semitism, this is a song we've heard before. This is not a mystery where this is going. So, I mean, let's take a hypothetical. What if some Killstream fan goes out and kills a Jew? What if he says, screw your optics, I'm going in? And we find out, oh, he's a major fan of the Killstream. Would anybody think differently? Would anybody be like, maybe there's other jokes to be made? Maybe we could be more clever in the topics we address and how we address them. It's just like, this is dumb. Like Chris Rock doesn't do this shit. Seinfeld doesn't do this shit. And the reason is, and this is another awkward truth, these people are not funny. The chat isn't funny. Every once in a while you get a clever comment, but like Ralph is not a comedian. Andy Worski is not a comedian. He sucks at comedy. So they have to go to something that just gets shock, anything. It's the same way that Kramer was bombing at a comedy club and he just started dropping an N-bomb. It's desperate. It's the same desperation that Sarah Silverman or Amy Schumer do when they start talking about their pussy. It's like, dude, stop with the pussy talk. It's the sign of a bad comedian. All right, let me see what this chat's saying. You know what Zionism is, right? It's the equivalent of, here we go, just straight into Zionism. Hold on, the chat was moving too fast. I lost it. Oh, it got jacked. It got censored right before my very eyes. Let me see if I can read it anyway. What was he going to say about Zionism? Somebody, okay, here, I got it. It's the equivalent of Islamism and hardcore right-wing Christianity. You just basically said all Jews are Zionists. What? First of all, I haven't talked about Zionism at all, so I don't know what you're talking about. And I had an in-depth discussion with two Israelis about Zionism, and it's simply having a Jewish homeland. It's just the existence and the legitimacy of Israel as a state, and I'm completely behind it. Not the religious aspect of it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. And it has nothing to do with Islamism, Zionism. You think Zionism is some imperialistic thing that wants to take over the earth? You fucking delusional. The Jews are 0.2% of the world. You fucking losers need to calm down. The Jews are 1.4% of America. You fucking losers need to calm down. You don't know Jews. If you knew Jews, you would not be threatened by them in any way. In any way. Okay? I mean, what I love too is somebody thinks, oh no, you know what it is? Here's the real smoking gun. The Jews are disproportionately represented on the left. They're trying to undermine white people. They're trying to, and that's, you know what? You're right. Not about the undermining white people. You're right that they are disproportionately on the left and the far left. And that's seen in exit polls. We know who they vote for. Here we go. Super chat. We got Evan coming in with 5. Sound like I'm freaking Andy Worski now. Israel is the only civilized nation in the Middle East. The Western Jew haters would never move anywhere else. Hypocrites. Yes, they don't. This is such a pointless red Jewish herring. Nobody cares. The Jews are not taking over anything. How sad is it that I have to like convey this to people? Spend your life, spend your time doing something more useful. Now, if it is the fact that you have nothing else that is more useful than hating on Jews, Jews that are fictional, Jews that like you're creating a Jewish golem, a Jewish straw man. The Jews are not going to replace you. They're not going to. They're not trying to harm you. You have to just relax your body and do something positive and healthy and constructive with your life. Because what you're exposing to me and the rest of the world, quite obviously, is that you are a hate-filled cunt who is utterly pointless. And the Jew hatred and this sniveling, like, lynch mob vibe that all these losers just revel in, it's grotesque to witness. Okay, you can still have fun, you can still be edgy, you can still, bro it up with the guys. Just don't be an anti-Semite when you do it. And don't be a racist either while we're at it. The most egregious white haters are white Gentiles. Exactly. So if your big thing is, oh, they're after white people, yeah, there's tons of people like that. You think Cenk is Jewish? You think Anna's Jewish? You think Francis is Jewish? No. There's tons of straight up white people that are as bad. Deep breath. $24.99. Is that a secret code? Thank you. Good Lord. Defend your clam. I guess he's a fan. So just avoid the group think, that whole mob think. Like everybody's in here is talking about NPCs, non-player characters. Okay, I don't play video games, all right? I play chess. Stop saying that. Stop saying whatever everyone else is saying. When Pokemon Go came around, did you play it? Or were you man enough to not play it? I didn't play it. I laughed at the people that played it. Let's see. There's more domesticated tigers in the USA than Jews. Correct. Oh God, my friend from New Orleans is in here. He's got one leg, and he says he wants to say all the gas, all right leg amputee jokes all I want. Yeah, you can. You do get a pass. Don Lemon, I'm doing a video. Don Lemon is a lying idiot. I'm actually making it right now. And if I am motivated, it's too late now. I'll upload it in the morning. It's fucking freezing outside. All I'm suggesting, just a thought, just an idea, be more original. Create your own memes. Do not fall in line. It's just, but what do I expect? These people are anonymous. I mean, you know who else is anonymous? The fish in a swarm of fish, a school of fish. They're anonymous too. Nobody names them. It's too many to name. They're irrelevant. One is exactly like the other. I mean, what the hell? And that is the issue when it comes to the Killstream. That is the toxic energy. If they didn't do any of that stuff, it would just be a regular show. It would just be like, what's the big deal? Now, in terms of the super chat, that might be a policy that needs to come into play. In terms of like, why would a content creator be punished for a super chat? Like, why is that somehow held in higher esteem than just a regular chat? Because they must know, YouTube must know, that chats are cancer. Now, the idea of giving a hate speech strike to the content creator for what's in the chat, that is, obviously it's not fair. But still, I don't even know if Ralph could control this at this point. If Ralph got out there and said, look, guys, I want to give you the show. Can you chill out with the freaking hate talk? Like, you could make jokes, but just don't cross the line. You guys know where the line is. Just don't do it. It wouldn't work. They'd be like, oh, you beta cuck, you're the Jews got to him. They're just rabid idiots. If you build a business on catering to rabid psychopathic idiots, you can make all the money you want. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass. He knew that. He definitely knew that. I just want to know what kind of phone you have. Specifics, please. I'm a techie. While we're on it, what does your girlfriend have? She has syphilis. So that's awkward. No, I have an iPhone 6S Plus, and I think I bought it. My choice was iPhone 6 or 7, and I was like, why is 7 better? I was like, why is it like $100, $200 more? And he was like, yeah, there's no reason. I think he said it's waterproof. I was like, oh, great. Well, I'm not going to be going deep sea fishing with my iPhone anytime soon. So give me the iPhone 6. And now apparently they're on iPhone 10. It felt like it was 2 days ago I got this phone. But yeah, I record all my videos on my phone. And yeah, it's tricky. Dude, I can't believe I'm going to go back here. How do I see these super chats? I can't even believe this is live. All right, let me bring on a couple of people, and we're going to have a little chit chat because I had a nice little rant there. Got it off my chest. You know, I wish these dudes the best. I think they're all going to be fine. Not worried about them. Not worried about them financially. I'm not worried about them creatively. I think there will be other platforms. I mean, look, does Pornhub stream? No, Pornhub wouldn't have it. Twitch wouldn't have this. Gab just got taken down. That's alarming. That's bullshit. I should do a video on that. Gab getting taken down because what? Because the bad PR that a guy had a Gab account? It doesn't even make sense. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Chris.
I'm on the wrong account. I'll be back.
This is, oh, dude, we're in a battle with likes and dislikes on this 120 to
Hello.
119.
Holy crap, you're loud, Jay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm using the microphone headset you sent me, mate.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just warn the people. We have some chavvy crippled scum has just arrived, and they
That's
fucked
no
up
way to talk about Chris, Devon. Come on. He's got
absolute
MS.
Boomerville up in here. Yeah. So the downvotes. So wait, why are they downvoting? You know, it's interesting. I think a lot of these dudes have like a Peter Pan complex where they think the internet is their safe haven to be as grotesque and juvenile as they want. And any sort of common sense adult sort of like supervision, sort of like, hey guys, why are you fucking doing X? Like they just view it as, oh no, this is my man cave. The internet is not your man cave. Now, who is making that background noise?
That would be Amy.
Sorry.
Okay. Here's a $10 from Steven Sugars. He comes in with, anti-Semitism is caused by envy. Plain and simple. Jews are successful in business and everything else they do because they're smart, industrious people, and so less successful people hate them. Very true. Very true. They are our Jewish overlords. Ashkenazi, super smart, big-brained. What is there to hate, precisely? I don't just... Once again...
Isn't it just trendy? Don't you think it's also just trendy for kids to not like Jews
totally
for some
trendy.
reason?
Okay, this is Amy. We have Amy, Alf, Chris, and Jay on here. These people are from... I'm about to mega dox everybody in here.
Yeah, go.
Got a guy from Bristol, a guy from Hull, a guy from New Jersey, and a girl from Vancouver. Okay? Just so you know.
Not girl. She's a fart.
A thought.
Hey,
She's a straight up Hull.
But
Yeah, and
I'm from Hull.
the Jew hatred is not the beginning and the end of it. It's also the racism, like legit racism. And it could be joke. It could be 60% joke, 50% joke. I mean, some of the guys, it's like, 10% joke. I recognize that they're doing it to be edgy and they think that's currency in their little circle. But it doesn't just stop there. It is misogyny. So there's a gross form of misogyny. Amy will tell you all about it. And whenever Amy goes on a stream, people freak out. Why do you think that is? Do you think a sexually successful guy is going to be threatened by seeing a woman in their man cave? These guys are like nerds in a treehouse, and they're like, no girls allowed. Confirm or deny?
Amy?
Okay. I tried to
be
open
fair,
conversation.
though, I
I'm here. Sorry, someone started talking to me. Everybody asked me for directions. Anyways.
For some reason, Indians are good at directions.
That happens a lot to Amy.
Okay.
Yeah.
what do you know about World War II? What happened at the end of World War II? You had some losers. Okay, we had the Germans and the Japanese. They lost. Why are they not bitching about it? You ever thought about that? Why do you never hear the Germans or the Japanese go around with a chip on their shoulder, going, "Motherfuckers, they got us in World War II. God damn it."
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because they are ragingly successful.
Yeah, I was going to
Economically,
say they benefited from it a lot, didn't they?
Yeah. Here's the plot twist. The winners of World War II were Germany and Japan.
Yeah.
Look at how they're doing now. It's like the man in the high castle. America is drenched in debt. We have this military industrial complex. We're 20 trillion in debt. These other countries have a surplus of money and are the greatest economies in their regions.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to worry about a military. They won. So this is why you never hear from successful people. You only hear from the outraged losers of the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True that.
So, but it's not a popular narrative. Nobody wants to get real. Like, that is the real thing I just gave you. But here's what they like, the sexier narrative. Hey, what about the Wall Street Journal? They said censorship's bad. And, what about those cancer kids?
There's nothing useful coming out of that argument right now. I was listening to Cog earlier bitching about narrative and controlling the narrative and all this other shit. And it's like, eventually, if you guys want to keep shit around you guys, people who are saying really discriminatory things against Jews or any group of people, eventually YouTube's going to tell you to fuck off. Like, that's not okay.
Let's look how it started. It started with the election. So you have a bunch of desperate, fame-hungry nobody hacks who are looking for popularity. Guys like Andy Worski. And they find a niche in the counter PC or the counter SJW movement. But they sort of veer to the right and they just go over into politics. Like, what does Andy Worski know about American politics? Fucking diddly dick, right? Right. So they actually are not conservative Republicans. They're just contrarians. And they just know the women and the feminists are over there, and I'm kind of weird. They weird me out. I don't like them.
But you said it already. Popularity. They sway with the motion of the wind wherever they can pick up the most people. That's why they let all these losers in their chat and don't give a shit.
Yeah. So now you're swimming with these sharks, these dudes who are like, "Ooh, we're on the right. We're the new punk rock and all this," and then they start one-upping each other. And that's when all the alt-right dudes come in. Hey, Richard Spencer, let's have him on the broadcast. Sure, why not? Let's bring on this Holocaust denier. Oh, yeah, cool. Let's talk about the Jews. Like, what? The JQ.
Yeah, I don't buy the joke thing either. If you're going to have people around you who are constantly repeating the same discriminatory jokes over and over again, this is what your community is about. Stop trying to say it's a joke.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, how they just basically, they say it's jokes, but they seem to exclusively joke about Jews. Like, I never hear them make
they don't seem to. They either don't understand. Well, I think they do understand, but they claim to not quite comprehend that if you tell the same joke over and over and over again, that it might still be a joke, but it's not funny anymore. At some point, it becomes.
But is that the in? That's the in to get into the community, is to make Jew jokes. But I'm just saying, like, as somebody who was a new viewer, if I was going into their chat and seeing all these fucking people say 1488, 3 bracket this, 3 bracket that, all these fucking Zionist Jew shows, blah, blah, blah,
it's
blah, blah.
to them. I mean, why would they care?
That's what I'm saying.
They don't care.
Ridiculous.
It's just monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, they're all pussies too. That's the other thing. Like, none of these people would say any of this to a Jew. Like, how many times have they asked, just bring a Jew on? Just you and a Jew.
Yeah.
Okay? One-on-one, reveal your name. Just be like, here's my name. I'm going to talk to a Jew and insult him to his Jewish face. They don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Because they're too much of a pussy. Like, they think that they're hardcore. Like, my anti-Semitism, like, I say kike just as good as Hitler said kike. No. The Nazis had balls compared to you. At least they backed up their Jew hatred. These guys wouldn't even do that. And obviously, I'm against the Nazis.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, if you take this and say we switch it up and somebody did a stream and all their chat is about black people and it's all anti-black people jokes, you think anybody would be surprised, or any of these people would be like, "Oh, the Wall Street Journal, blah blah blah"? But for some reason, because it's the Jews, now they want to fight against it.
There's another group called the Gypsies. Okay, the Gypsies, they're around. They're they're still here. Nobody talks about them because they have no power and they're not doing well.
Yeah.
Okay, so people, they'll tell you, they'll be like, look, the reason I don't like the Jews is because they control things. They're in high positions in the media and banking. Okay, but then it's like, and then what? And then what? Where does the conspiracy go from there? Like, prove it. Prove what you're saying. Like, they don't have proof because it is a conspiracy, because it's not real. Now, I've criticized, like, for example, DreamWorks. There is a kernel of truth in what some of these alt-right guys say. So you take a look at DreamWorks. It is a company started by 3 successful Jews in Los Angeles, right? And what is the first project they do? The Prince of Egypt. What is the Prince of Egypt? It's the Jewish story. It's the Exodus from Egypt with Moses. It's the entire Passover thing. Now, the story is a heinous story in which they actually condone the genocide of firstborn Egyptian sons. And it's like, our God's better than your God, so fuck you and die? Like, it's not a good story, but it was presented and given out to the world. They had Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston sing, these quasi-religious songs, and somebody's echoing.
If it's me, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hearing my voice. But, and why did they do that? Because there was a Jewish agenda in place, because those 3 guys were Jews. If those 3 guys were Mormons, guess what? We're going to get the Joseph Smith story. They weren't Mormons. So you can criticize them for that, and I would and have, and I'm doing it right now. But so what? So what? You battle free speech with free speech. You don't dogpile, and you don't just start going into these dark holes where it just gets more and more toxic.
But it's easier to direct your inner anger towards a group that has nothing to do with your inner anger when you do not want to deal with your own internal bullshit, right?
I love the fact that the Israelis don't give a shit. And the Israelis will hear this and be like, oh, that's a fresh new story. Somebody's anti-Semitic in the world? Really? Where have we heard that before? They just throw up their middle finger and they're like, look, come fuck with the IDF if you want. Your little
and then
super
they'll continue
chats.
on with their day.
Yeah, we have snipers. You have super chats. Let's do this. It's like, but there are Jews in America. That's the problem. There are Jews around the world, and these ideas do transfer because they're stupid people. That guy who was sending out the bombs for the MAGA guy, you think he's a bright dude? I mean, these people are dumb. So when you have a cocktail of youth, stupidity, hatred, nothing to lose, access to weapons, a seething hatred for a group of people, what do you need for this to spark into violence? But of course, everybody's going to wash their hands of it. Oh, it's not me. It's not me. I was just part of a mob. Wasn't my thing, even though I was.
That's an easy thing to do, is to defer responsibility when you are part of a mob.
Yeah,
and just kind of blend into the background.
Right, none of this will ever change because people will never sign their names to it. So the second that starts happening, then you would see change. If YouTube just outed everyone's IP or some shit.
So is it just me, or I think content creators are responsible for the people they keep around them and for the influence that they have on their audiences. I think that's a big thing. Nobody really talks about it. I mean, if you're going to allow this behavior to perpetuate when you get popular, it's going to be a problem. You are an influencer, and it's a weird word to use, but it is kind of important.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say Ethan Ralph got his channel back, and he said, you know what we're going to do? The chat is cancer. It's too toxic. It's a bunch of Jew-hating fags in there, so we're going to shut down the chat. Now, that would ruin his show. The whole show is the chat. That's something that needs to be said. No. It's fueled by the chat. The content creators, they're staring at the chat the whole time. They're reading the chat. The money comes in through the chat. It's that interactivity that makes that show. But the problem is the chat is a mob of spurged out
idiots.
Yes, it is. It is not exactly the Waking Up podcast demographic. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Devin is right. Your view on the Jews is a litmus test on if you are regressive or not. Well, yeah, it's honestly, why? Okay, here's a question. A question for any of those Asperger dudes out there. Was it your original thought to spit venom at Jews? Or did you hear it from someone else? Be honest. Half these dudes, it's a guy living in Fargo, North Dakota, talking shit about Jews. That's
never seen one in his life. I'll give a good example of this. I went on the Oofcast one time, and the live stream went down, and I was stuck in there with some guy from some southern, some really southern accented kind of guy, and he kept talking about Jews, and I was like, I don't know anything about the bullshit you're talking about. I'm not into that. But then he starts saying that he's only met 2 Jews in his life, and they were both assholes.
Oh,
I was like, well,
that.
I live with a bunch of Jews surrounding me, and not, some of them are assholes, some of them are nice, and I forgot what he said, but he made some sort of comment, and I was like, well, isn't it stupid to make your judgment on the 2 Jews you met? That's retarded. You're basing your judgment on all Jews on 2
But
people.
what was odd about that interaction was that when you said that to him, it was like he'd honestly never considered that before.
Exactly. Yeah. He stayed quiet for a while.
I am basing everything on these 2 Jews that I know are complete assholes.
And then he said, "Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point you just made." After he stayed quiet for a while,
that was very strange. That
was strange.
Yeah, there are studies that have been done about anti-Semitism around the world, and they ask people, "What do you hate Jews?" And they're like, "Yes." And then they say, "Well, do you know a Jew?" And they say, "No." Most people in the Muslim world have never even met a Jew, and they hate their guts. They hate them. So it's like, what other group is there in the world, historically or in the modern times, that you could target and blame, scapegoat? Like, who is it? The Italians, the Irish, the Chinese, you've run out of groups. The Jews are such a perfect target because it's a long history. You're not coming up with new content. You're just repeating what has already come before you. And this is the worst part of humanity that you're repeating, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And like you say, every single anti-Jew comment has been repeated 1,000 times over the last 500 plus years.
There's nothing new or original in any of this.
No, it's like the Jews control the banking. That was like originally from like the 1700s. Wow, you're original, mate.
Imagine a scenario. Let me pose you a scenario here. You are the assistant cinematographer for Game of Thrones. You are in the process.
Yeah, that's 144 eggs right there.
Okay. You are the assistant cinematographer for the next season of Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. You are scouting locations because there's a few epic battle scenes that you have to figure out where to get the camera angles. You have to go to Iceland for that, and then you go to Northern Ireland, and then you're going over to Croatia. You have a girlfriend. Your girlfriend's sister is getting married. You have to coordinate and figure out what to get her. You have a dog that you also need to make sure is got a nice host family for when you're traveling. Do you know what you're doing during all of these months where you're preparing for this production shot? You're not in a chat room talking shit about Jews. Do you know why? Because you have a successful, productive life where you are creating something. You are making the world better. You have a life, in other words.
Exactly.
Now, none of the people in any of these chats are assistant cinematographers on Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Okay? None of them. And they have nothing comparable. There's diddly dick going on in their lives. That's why they're anonymous. It's not to protect them. It's not. They are anonymous because they are ashamed of who they actually are. Exactly. If you were to see who these people were, it would be like the nightmare people have when they wake up and they're like, "Oh my God, I forgot to wear pants," and everybody's laughing at the size of my dick. These people should, and I give them credit, they understand that they should be embarrassed about who they are. At least they know that. So they're not Dunning-Kruger on how pathetic they are. And that's why they're anonymous. And that's why I'm Devin Tracy telling you my name. And I'm more than happy to invite you to join me in this world of people before the internet. Do you know people before the internet? If you wanted to be anonymous, you couldn't be. Okay? You had no choice. You're not going to walk around like some Ronin samurai. You're not James Bond. You don't have multiple passports.
Yeah.
State your goddamn name.
My name is Jamie Turner, and I love Israel.
So somebody in the chat just said, "Isn't Devin Tracy basically anonymous?" So
what?
That's his name. I just replied, "I've met him, so no."
Somebody take a screen cap of that. I've seen that before, actually. People on my own Twitter. My Twitter is AIU_Devin Tracy, and some guy's like, "Well, you just hide behind a kangaroo. You don't get." I'm like, "Oh God."
Oh, God.
Well, it's because you don't make videos every single time with your face in. Yeah. How many times there's been loads of videos where you've had footage and pictures of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the other thing. The other thing that it should be noted is that we understand there's going to be losers out there. Okay, these people are fucked up. They have severe mental health problems. Half of them are fat as shit. They have they are artistic. I'm not joking. Like they do have problems, financial problems, you name it. They're not supposed to be talking to you. Under no circumstance would you find yourself in a conversation with any of these people in your regular life. And so the internet has given us this opportunity to associate and converse with complete losers. And that's what we're seeing here. That's the fallout of what you're seeing. If you could curate your life online the same way you do in your private life, this would all be avoided. If there were barriers of entry to get to talk to you, but there aren't. Everybody's little comment looks the same. Look at the chat right there. You see that chat going up and down? Every third person is a potential sociopath, but the way they use English is the same. Sometimes they don't even fuck up the grammar. So it's kind of tricky. It's impossible to ferret out who's a loser until you read what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy. Go ahead.
This one guy said about Jay, he said, well, if these Brits want to tell us their names because they're so brave, can they tell us what they think of Islam and Muhammad, or will there be consequences? I'm like, Jay makes videos about Islam and Muhammad.
I was going to say, have you seen Jay?
Nah, mate. Islam's the religion of peace, mate. Didn't you know?
This guy, Tommy, just gave me 109 pounds. Fucking hell.
109 euros.
That's
going to the pound.
That's still good.
It's a lot of money, that there. It's a lot of money.
No,
it's 100 quid.
He left no comment.
The way that the euro and the pound is, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, that really is about 100 quid. It's a lot of money.
I think that what we need to do and focus on is just be aware that not all things are created equal. Not all communities are the same online. So the atheist community, that wasn't all it's cracked up to be. Okay, you have some complete freaking douchebag SJWs in that. You have, some autistic right-leaning douchebags in it as well. But not all YouTube channel communities are the same. So a lot of people use my channel as a way to filter. So if you're a fan of mine, there's a greater likelihood that you're going to have some value and that you're going to be worth the investment of time to talk to, versus if you're just some Killstream fag. You see what I'm saying?
True. True story.
So some people have figured out that they're, because online is a weird digital realm where you do have communities. It is like little cliques forming. And some people, there are idiots out there, like Andy Worski. He has fans. There are other little acolyte Andy Worskis that think Andy Worski is like a guy to look up to. So what you need to do with that community is tie a ribbon around it, put it in a paper bag, take a shit on it, set it on fire, ring someone's doorbell, and just run away. That's all that needs to be done with that.
Straight up.
Yeah, I mean...
People use you as a litmus test. That's what it is. You're a good litmus test.
And it's hard to do this. We're discovering this as we go. There's no one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And people change too. It's like, content creators are always at war with each other, and people, they gather together in these little high school cliques, and it's all kind of nauseating and retarded.
But it's totally natural, though. It's going to happen no matter where you go, where there's a large group of people. That happens where we live. People separate based on things that are alike in them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's somebody in the chat. He says, he's anonymous. He says, didn't everyone's parents tell them to be careful and not give out your name and personal details? Yeah, I can imagine that. That is solid advice. It's coming from a place of love, and they're worried about you. But here's the thing. You could be an anonymous person online and have integrity. It's actually a test to work for you. If you are anonymous, there's no one that's going to, you're not risking anything. So you could act however you want to act. The question is, what is that? Who are you? What do you do once given the power of anonymity? And we see the answer. It's the worst side of humanity that comes out. Most often. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot easier when you don't have to hold yourself accountable, and you can be a complete douche to whoever you want, right?
Right. I mean, you guys have faced these tests, these moral tests that you experience in your life, and you're like, look, nobody's watching right now. Like, I'm not going to get any virtue points for doing whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So should I do it? No one's watching. Now, this is why people invented God. They came up with the concept of God to be this invisible babysitter who's going to be sitting there looking at you, going, "Hey, you know that link to that donkey porn that your friend just sent you? And I know you're horny right now. Are you going to click that link and fap to it? You're alone in your room. You could do it. Nobody's going to call you out for it. But are you going to do it? You know, that snuff film, that rape film?
Yeah.
And you know this happens.
Because a lot of the time, if people aren't being watched, they will just do the crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
So they have to erect a being.
Right. Are you reining yourself in? Do you have any sort of self-critical aspect to your personality? Clearly, the answer is no for thousands of people.
So many more people don't than do.
Here we go. Steven Sugar's in for 10. He says, one way to combat anti-Semitism is to explain that Jewish people, since they are so intelligent, end up in the cutting edge of political movements. So don't hate, convince, make them your ally. Right. So, like, here's the other thing. Why is everybody scared of the Jews? Like, they talk about them so much. Yeah. The obsession is so real. Are you seriously scared of them? Like, you don't think I'm against Glenn Greenwald? You don't think I'm against... I just did video against David Pakman. He's a Jew. You don't think I'm against Michael Brooks, sniveling Jew, Sam Cedar? These guys are regressive shits. I understand they're overrepresented on the left, but it's not their Judaism.
You even did a video against Sam Harris. Like, it's about them being wrong.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with them being Jewish.
Yeah, you take each idea and examine it in a vacuum on its own, whether it's good or bad, not whether you like the person who said it or not.
Well, and it's also, it's just a radical jump of logic. So I'm against Cenk. Cenk is regressive, just as regressive as any of those Jewish regressives I just listed. Now, should I start and stop with Cenk, or should I extrapolate and say, not only am I against Cenk, I'm against Turkish people? Like, that's what they're doing with Jews.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Jay knows. Jay is pro-Jewish, and he's not Jewish, and he's surrounded by anti-Semitism in a very liberal city.
Yep. Completely left-wing, from council to local government to national government, and we have the only Palestinian culture and museum outside of this so-called state called...
I was going to say where Jay lives in the UK is particularly bad for it, because it's anti-Semitism isn't particularly a thing where I live, but I know it is in Bristol.
I mean, we had a march go through Bristol about 3-4 months ago now, and there was nearly over 100 people there, all chanting from the river to the sea. And that river they're referring to is the river that goes in between Israel and Jordan. So basically, they want to remove all the Jews from Israel. That's anti-Semitism.
We got a super chat in here for $50. That's unbelievably kind, of Jerry Lewis.
Oh, wow.
Who is recently deceased comedian, but he's back.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought he was dead.
Yep. The real fallout of social media brainwashing Jewish hate. Dr. Jerry Rabinowitz was murdered. He was a physician who cared for the aged for thousands of Pittsburgh residents for 30 years. Oh, by the way, do you remember that one of the people killed in that Pittsburgh attack was like 97, and she was a Holocaust survivor?
Oh, wow, no way.
He will be missed.
The Nazis, but died a fucking anti-Semite.
He said he will be missed by those old people and their families. Right. So a guy who, is doing good work. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like, they are the unfair targets of so much hate. The stats are out. They are the #1 victims of hate crime by like a country mile in America and probably around the world. Here we go. Somebody says, there's nothing wrong with anonymity. If everyone wasn't anonymous, no one would be able to criticize SJWs because the SJWs would know who they are and where they live and work. Well, I am not anonymous, and I criticize them. I don't know who you think you're talking to. This reminds me of when Kraut was trying to beat his chest, and he was like, "You don't understand. I'm critical of Islam, and I live in Germany." And I'm like, "I've been critical of Islam, and I live in Germany, and I reveal my name." So his little line about how virtuous he was for that just did not work on me.
Yeah. In the end, we're all not anonymous, and we've all been on live streams and done live streams ourselves criticizing SJW.
Okay. Here's a guy who says not everyone has your type of job. Yeah, I understand that. So I understand there are reasons to be anonymous.
Yeah.
Like, you have a family, you got kids. You don't want to risk your income, and people, there are lynch mobs, and they'll come after you for expressing your views. So what I suggest is be an adult, be responsible, and if you are going to use anonymity, A, don't be a bitch, B, also don't slander people who are not anonymous, and C, carry yourself with a shred of personal integrity.
Yeah.
Is that too
I
much to
like
ask?
say it as if people will respect your anonymity if you respect your own anonymity. You know, like if you have no respect for your own anonymity and you're just going out and talking bullshit, people are going to call you out.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody has to be a social commentator, and there is a place to express ideas without, risking your future or your economic future or, your social. We don't want you to commit social suicide just because.
Yeah.
People manipulate, and people are using the internet to form these, viral sensation lynch mobs, and they go after people.
But generally, shouldn't you always behave like there will be social consequences if you're an asshole? Because that is how it works in the real world. So I don't know whether you're anonymous or not. You should behave like a total
I tend to agree with that. I think it's a good argument against anonymity on the internet, because if you're not anonymous, then you are in some way accountable for the things that you say to people, like as you are in reality, which is probably as it should be, really.
The other funny thing is this whole Jewish issue, a lot of the time it pivots to they're against whites. And so even those guys marching in Charlottesville talking about Jews will not replace us. And so what you get is a weird thing where you got a guy on the right who's sort of, he's getting into that whole Jew hatred thing. It's like, oh, they're undermining whites and they're trying to say whites are bad. And they come to me, of all people, and they say, Devin, you don't understand. Like white people, like there's anti-white racism. Like, I get it. I understand all of that. But do not highlight and target one little group of people and give them undue respect. They don't have the power. Like, you're insinuating that these people are the puppeteers of the earth. They're not. Just battle them on their ideas, and enough said.
Or if you dislike certain people, call out those certain people. If you have a problem with the people who are in charge, then you have a problem with those people, not the entire group that have
I just don't understand why people think that, why anybody thinks that racism is going to beat racism, or hatred of any kind is going to beat other hatred. It's just not. It perpetuates the problem.
Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld isn't running the world.
And it's like, if you guys are really concerned about the backlash against whites, don't stop at the Jews. The Jews who are on the far left. I'm talking about the actual Jews who try to disparage whites who are on the far left, and those obviously do exist. But there's way more than that. You got to broaden your mind. This is bigger than your tired ass, trope of hating Jews just for the sake of it. It's just, oh my God, it's depressing. What are we not talking about? Because we have to talk about this.
How can you even hate the Jews? It's like hating on the whites. Some people are like, angry whites. You were going off the other day about how you're welcome. You're welcome for English and rockets and all the cool stuff. But fuck whites, right?
Exactly like hating whites, hating Jews just comes down to jealousy. At the end of the day, these are the successful groups, so they're the people that are going to be hated on. Okay,
we have Defend Your Clam, who has given a super chat for $9.99, which I believe is a reference to the KKK. I'm not sure how. He comes in with, it seems the Democratic Party is anti-Israel, yet 70% of American Jews voted for Hillary. Your thoughts as to why? P.S. Another Shives destruction is overdue. Oh, yes. I will check in on Shives, who also doesn't like Israel. I think a more interesting number would be not the 70% of Jews who voted for Hillary, which was the only logical choice. I mean, they are on the left. So most of the Jews are on the left, so it's not shocking. The real question is how many of them voted for Bernie? Because Bernie was anti-Israel. Hillary wasn't.
Yep.
That's a big difference. I mean, the left is... See, the Jews get it from all sides. The far left are anti-Semitic. The far right especially, are anti-Semitic. Even now, you see these schmucks in the center are anti-Semitic. And you got the entire Muslim world who are anti-Semitic, and you have self-hating Jews. So basically, the people that don't hate the Jews are me and Jay, essentially. It comes down to us.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
I want to address this one Todd Brown guy in your chat. He says, stop with the blacks, Devin. What's the fucking difference? Can you believe this fucking guy?
Okay. Jesus Christ.
No. There are people that they think they're clever and stuff. So
not at all.
Why don't you highlight, first of all, what I do, my criticism of the blacks is treating them with respect and equality.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't make jokes at the expense of black people.
Yeah.
My jokes are half the time in reaction to overt racism towards whites. And me simply calling them out for what they are doing and making them accountable for it is exactly what I'm doing to the anonymous people. It's the same principle. I'm calling out the Jew haters the same way I'm calling out criminals in the black community. I'm
Yeah,
fully aware
exactly.
that it's not all in all cases.
And I'll tell you a huge difference right now too is if your chat was filled with people saying KKK, you know, let's lynch these black people, this and that, we'd be banning them. We wouldn't be
Yeah.
laughing at it and being like, oh, these guys are so funny.
Yeah, I don't hate black people in the slightest. I look up to black people. I'm happy to have them.
Oh my God, he said you generalize them on your channel using statistics, but you're saying
Gen-
don't.
Oh,
my God. Wait, that's incredible. Okay. No, he must be trolling. He's got to be
He
trolling.
must be trolling.
Or dumb. Real
Oh, dumb.
I
dumb.
think he's been doing it for a while. I was reading
Okay.
it before.
The whole point of statistics is that they are the exact antithesis to generalization.
Yeah.
Does that need to be explained?
Apparently it does.
Apparently.
No.
Jews start committing as much crime as the blacks do in America and the proportions that they do, maybe he'll come at the Jews the same way. But they don't, you know? So,
I think
bit
the
of a
point some people are
difference.
missing is that Devin's not saying you can't criticize Jews. That's a totally different thing. Or criticize things they do there with statistics and stuff. He's not saying you can't.
Yeah, he just went through a whole like.
Yeah, he's-
But yeah,
Just
but yeah,
now.
present
Okay.
some statistics. That's what he's saying.
Here's the thing. Here's what people need to understand about me. I fundamentally don't care about black people. It's not a topic that has ever crossed my mind at any point in my life until I got online and was through with atheism and was noticing by watching Young Turks videos that there is some heinous dishonesty and bullshit in the fact that blacks were getting a pass and they were leveraging slavery to get away with literally murder in the streets. Blacks are 27 times more likely to kill a white guy than in reverse. Okay? So you don't, or sorry, to attack. That's a violent attack. I think it's 12 times more likely to kill a white person than in reverse. These numbers are shocking and crazy, but I'm not that interested in them in and of themselves. I'm interested in the liars who are not willing to call it out. This is the same way of like, I'm not interested. If you tell me you're Christian, so be it. You're Christian. You're a moron. That doesn't bother me. If you tell me you're atheist, okay, good for you. You figured it out. If you tell me you're agnostic, that is what irks me because you're lying. That's not even a position. Okay, this is what draws me into the whole notion of race. It is. I'm never notice that my videos are never going at black people. I'm going at the people that are being patronizing to black people and who are lying and who are on the offensive and going after whites. That's the intellectual curiosity of it for me.
But Devin, you're presenting stats and generalizing. So
Here's a very thoughtful comment from SJ, $5. If we can help these guys get laid, the anti-Semitism will go down. They're socially
straight
inept
up.
dudes who need a boogeyman to blame for their own failings. Yeah, and it doesn't even make sense.
Absolutely.
Like you draw the connections. Okay, you know how in a movie, in a thriller, they'll put up pictures of all the mob bosses and like draw lines in between them? You draw a picture of a female vagina with a cross through it, the fact that you're not getting any pussy, and then draw that back to a Jew. How did that happen? It doesn't make sense. You're lying to yourself.
Exactly. Anyway, sorry, Devon, but I'm going to have to leave you guys to it. You all have fun now, and I'll catch you later.
Have a
Jay,
good night.
I didn't even know you were here.
That's a lie, Devon.
Mhm.
You miss me. You send me little private messages every day just to check in on me.
I'm going to be visiting Jay in a week. I'm living.
Whoa, we're telling people about that?
I'm going to Bristol.
Between me and you. Whoa.
I'm going to Bristol.
And I'm going to
Okay.
take you to the Palestinian Museum.
Robert Ward, I recognize your existence.
But yeah, have a good night. Bye.
Good night.
bye.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
interesting. We will see where this heads in the future. I think we've sort of nailed it. I think, it's a shame, but look, where there's a will, there's a way. And the fans of the Killstream That's a loud background noise. There,
Amy, traffic.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Yeah. Oh God, hold on. Let me recover from that.
Steamroller!
I think it's all going to work out. We're going to save the cancer children. Ralph is going to probably have a landslide of cash sent his way through Patreon support. This is the same thing that happened to Jordan Peterson, where Jordan Peterson was being victimized by this tyrannical, overly PC, authoritarians. Oh, let's give him money. Let's make it rain on the dude. So Ralph's going to be fine. They're going to figure out a way to broadcast on some alternative platform. I mean, it would be a miracle if YouTube lets them back, but we'll see. And but still, everything's going to be fine. But there are other lessons that we can find out that in the cracks of all this. Why is this a problem? What is YouTube's deal? What is the deal with these anonymous, sexless, idiot incels?
And why don't people call them out?
Yeah, well, because it's maybe it's not popular. I mean, what's in it for them?
I think it's to keep views, right? They see a lot of their viewers are these anti-Semitic people, and then they're like, well, if I call them out, I'm going to lose like 40% of my viewers or something.
I mean, these channels like Killstream, they're going for the low-hanging fruit, aren't they? It's the easy way of making money from super chats and stuff, from getting these people to engage with them.
Well, okay, hold on. Go ahead, Amy.
It's like the reason why Neil deGrasse Tyson won't say he's an atheist, right? As soon as you do, you alienate a bunch of people who are like, what? Yeah. Thought you were on my team, bro.
Right, it's dollar signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yep.
One of the things that's interesting, DC or Lewis, hold on, let me just answer this. Also, Weidman pull out.
Oh, yeah.
The win? Okay. Yeah, I'm actually about to look at the weigh-ins tonight. I got to see how everybody's looking. Weidman was a late replacement, right? I'm interested in that. Who's he fighting? Chris Weidman is fighting. Oh, is it Jacare? See, I think Jacare's going to kick his ass. I don't know. Weidman's been on a downslide for a while, and he's not been active, and he has like 3 kids. DC or Lewis, I'm definitely rooting for Derek Lewis, but DC's going to wrestle fuck him into submission in round 1 or 2. If it gets to round 3, it's going to be the sloppiest. It's going to be like Data 5000 versus Kimbo. It's going to be crazy. JF is the leader of the incel Jew haters. Yeah. Well, I mean, JF is a perfect example. JF has a inflamed mental issue when it comes to women. He is seriously a broken man.
Mm-hmm.
He's had so many bad experiences with women, which I believe are, JF's fault, either by who he's selecting or just through his behavior. But the guy obviously has, major issues, red flag. Like this guy has a problem. And he finds comfort in dealing with other men or coexisting with other men who hate women. It's just what it is. And the Jew hatred is this thing. It's like this Band-Aid. It's something else to talk about. It's something else to poke fun at, to demonize. Because when you're demonizing that, you're not facing your own problems, your own shortcomings. Because it's so easy to get online and say, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this. You know what's harder? Getting online and saying, I like this. I'm excited about that. I'm a fan of this. We live in a hate culture. Everybody's hating on everything. Everybody's tearing everything down. That's why I try to, honestly, you guys see a dark side of me. Most of my stuff is me saying that something's shit. Now, I try to put in like, oh, by the way, here's, Eurovision, here's the World Cup, here's a fight, here's Conor McGregor, here's, The Bachelor, whatever. But you're more at risk with that.
Can I just say, when I actually sort of met you in person, you're almost completely the opposite of that. Everything, Christ, you were in Hull, and still everything that you were observing of Hull, one of the worst cities in the UK, was very positive. And look how good all this actually is.
Yeah,
and it's a very different sort of personality to what some people might pick up if they just watch your videos.
Right.
About how bad things are.
Because look, it's a matter of focus. It is, for me, entertaining and interesting to spot a lot of the problems in the world. There's a lot of bad ideas. There's a lot of just disgusting people. And it's very satisfying to rip into them and to, take them down a peg and sort of poke fun at them and expose them to the world. But there's a whole other side. Like when I put down the computer, when I'm put down a video, I'm looking at things that better my life. I'm looking at shows that give me joy. You try to you have to fill your life with something positive. Otherwise, what are you? You're just this empty husk looking for a new target to spit venom at. This is not healthy. We need psychologists to give therapy to the world. Where are they? Like Jordan Peterson, by the way, that's what he is. That's what he's doing. Why do you think Jordan Peterson starts with gender, pronouns, and gender, and required speech in Canada? Next thing you know, he's telling you to clean your room, and he's giving you tips on how to be a man. Why? Because that's the need. He drew people in with the outrage, and then he immediately pivoted to giving them therapy for free. Not for free. He's getting paid millions.
I was going to say the thing about Jordan Peterson, and he quite openly admits to this, is he's basically found a way to monetize all of these spags, hasn't he? He knows full well what he's doing in that regard, in my opinion, anyway.
Yes. Look, it is easy to manipulate people and to fearmonger and to make people mad. And I'll be the first to tell you, like, I'm aware of it. I could do a video tomorrow telling you about this video right here. Look at the dislikes on this video.
Mm-hmm.
Look down. Wow. Everybody in the chat, look down right there. Can you, for a second, tell me what those 242 people dislike about this video? Okay, so here's the point. In this video, there's no target. I'm talking about my ideas. I'm creating something. I'm putting my ideas, my name on the line. I'm calling people out. It's not a popular thing. It's far easier for me to go, oh, God, you know who the target is? It's the Wall Street Journal, and it's this one reporter, or it's the Jews, or it's the SJWs even. Far easier to do that. But it doesn't get us anywhere, and it's a pussy move. It's as pussy as saying to someone, hey, Devin, I heard you like Nirvana. Well, guess what? Nirvana sucks. A guy who tells me that, I have zero respect for. If you tell me, Devin, Nirvana sucks, you know who's way better? I don't know, Metallica. At least you're putting something on the table.
Yeah.
At least you're a man. It's just, you never see it. We live in a world where weakness abounds. It's just everywhere to a sickening degree. And what we see is a conflict between weak and strong people online. It might not come across like that. You might even register it as that, but it is that. Now, I want to end this with going around the table, and I want you to not tell me what's wrong with the world or what we should hate. It's a segment I like to call, and I rip it from an NPR podcast, What is Making Me Happy? See, look, a guy just did to me. I love your content, but Nirvana sucks. First of all, that's retarded. Nirvana definitely doesn't suck. But okay, the Beast. Tell me who is better than Nirvana in your estimation? As if I care what you think of Nirvana. As if I'm going to lose sleep tonight because you don't like Nirvana.
Yeah.
Okay, so you tell me something that makes you happy, something you're looking forward to, something you are enjoying in your life that is bringing you pleasure. We will start with whoever wants to start.
I'll start. My dog is definitely bringing me pleasure. I enjoy spending a lot of time with her, and I'm looking forward to Sunday when I'm going out with somebody and we're going to have a nice big slap-up meal at a fancy burger place in Hull.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, nice. That is a big trip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My friends.
Yeah, pretty much. Spending time with friends, laughing, having a good time.
I love laughing, for sure.
Somebody else in the chat said something that I have to agree with. Falcon 9 rocket launches and the landings, they are absolutely incredible.
That's stuff.
Okay.
The internet.
I like that. What am I looking forward to? Several shows. I'm going to be watching Hereditary. Is that the name of the movie?
Oh,
yeah,
I'm going to watch the movie. I'm enjoying The Man on High Castle.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
that's excellent.
It's really good.
I am going to be spending tomorrow with my girlfriend. She's home sick, but she's getting better. And I'm going to be going to Bristol soon. I'm excited about that. We got a Airbnb lined up. And then I'm going to be visiting all my friends in England.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is good times and excitement. And I have tons of video ideas I'm looking forward to cranking out and posting up. And I got my channel back. I'm excited about that. You know,
UFC tomorrow.
I'm trying to put UFC tomorrow. I'm going to stay up for that. I'm
Yep.
trying to get to 100,000 subs. I can't find the videos anymore since they were on AIU 3, but your antidepressant videos are A1. Be a psychologist, Devin. Well, we are all psychologists, good sir.
Yeah.
We are all experts at human interaction. You gain experience as you go through time. And, you know, I think it's pattern recognition. That's really the skill we're talking about. It's like you'll see people, they'll date the same exact prototype of a partner, and it will fail for the exact same reasons. And like 20 years later, they're like, what is it about me? I just can't land the guy. It's like, no, you have no ability to recognize patterns. That's what it is. We have a Jew in the chat. There is a Jew in the chat, everybody. Hold on. It's Ghost of Day in person. She is a Jew. She is a Jew. Forget everything I've said in the past couple hours. And is there a way to harm her in the chat? I'm not sure.
Watching Jews are overrepresented in porn, actually.
Okay, can I just say that we are looking at ways of getting AIU 3's videos back online, because I have got all of those. So.
Oh, you're talking about AIU 4? You mean?
No. Well, the guy asked about AIU 3, but which I do have. But yeah, I've got AIU 4 coming as well.
Wow.
Which
okay, so
be a treat.
All of these, the bunch of videos that have been ghosted. AIU 3 was ghosted not a few months back, which had some funky shit on there. But AIU 4 was some of my most edgy, didn't give a fuck stuff. Like I think I didn't make money off my channel during AIU 4. It was just me flaming the world and basically tearing down the entire atheist community.
How you got away with that for so long is beyond me.
Yeah, it was under the radar. I remember AIU 4 got taken down, and this guy in Eastern Europe, he had downloaded all of them, and he started a channel called Atheism is Unstoppable Archive, and he would post them up.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
He'd post them up every once in a while, and then that got taken down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Right. I think nobody has time to watch all the videos. I think a lot of it is keywording and titles. But thank you, Filthy Manatee, for watching. Your videos gives me joy. Keep making great content. I will. I'll try. What is your overall plan for the future? Obviously, there's a bigger spot for you in the world. I'm curious where you think that is. I feel like riding the wave that is YouTube is a big spot. I think you're underplaying what YouTube is. YouTube is television. YouTube represents at least for me and for us, it represents the lion's share of the time I spend online. Think of what that means to say that. It is home base for all online activity. So it is an incredible platform, and there's no end. There's no ceiling to this. So, there's podcasting, obviously. I don't think I'll ever go mainstream and pull a Sargon, and I'm not going to be representing UKIP anytime soon. Yeah, I think I'm happy and very content being my bubble. You know why? Because I have ultimate freedom, creative freedom, intellectual freedom, and I have people that are supportive, and God bless the patrons, basically the patron saints. So yeah, much to look forward to. I thank you guys for coming on and helping me out here. I had a lot to get off my chest, and I'm wondering if I should keep this up.
Started as a classic Devin stream. I missed those where you would just get online. And
I was going to say
yourself.
it was just spontaneous.
It was awesome.
Great.
Well, yeah, it's weird. I had a lot to say. I didn't even realize it.
I mean, honestly, Devin, what else is new?
I'd keep this up. I can't see any reason to take it down.
Don't ever shut up, please.
You haven't said anything contentious, I don't think.
Tice just told me to keep it up, so maybe I'll keep it up.
Yes.
All right, I'll do that. I'm going to go play some chess. I thank all the super chatters, and I thank the community here, the AIU people, flying monkeys, whatnot. Very cool of you to show up and spend a little time with me, and maybe we'll do it again sometime. And
okay.
Yeah, we should do it more.
All right.
See you later.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Night, guys.
Bye.
Bye now.